Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. Right, so the entire mess with Alliance War attack tactics and Alliance War in general right now is about to hit the boiling point with the start of the current season. As you all know, we do have extended off-season about to come to an end, and with that there were some changes coming to Alliance War. Now, I personally thought that those changes are nowhere near enough to breathe back some life into the game mode, and that is coming from somebody who likes, enjoys, and competes in a highly competitive level of Alliance War. Even I could barely stomach last couple of seasons. I just had very little shits to give about them. Even though my alliance is an alliance that's constantly, every season, pushing for top 3. Now, last season we finished in Masters, but I think that was just a collective result of not enough people giving enough poops. Therefore, our pile of poop was smaller than our opponents, and collectively we lost some wars we shouldn't have. But the season before that, we won the entire thing, as in like the first best alliance in the game for that season. And prior to that, we typically finish somewhere in top 3 or the first. I think only a handful of times we haven't qualified to top 3, since I have been in this alliance anyways. So that gives you guys a very good picture of what type of player I am and in what type of alliance I am. And when I saw the season changes, well, the change for this season, I was not happy at all. The only good, decent, great / thing was the war rewards increase, the season rewards increase. But other than that, the defensive tactics seemed relatively boring and bad. The map changes were not interesting at all. Same old map, just a couple of nodes made easier. And in short, it kind of seemed a lot of same old, same old. But there was one thing that was kind of curious. I personally thought it's always destined to fail for majority of the players, but it is these attack tactics and the idea that now you can individually select what kind of buffs your attackers will get. And now let's be real, in most case scenarios, you're still going to bring in your Dr. Doom or your Human Torch, regardless of the fact that you cannot benefit from any offensive tactic, but there could potentially come up some matchups where these offensive tactics would significantly improve your chances of finishing these fights deathless. And without having played through all of these offensive tactics, I was hesitant to kind of actively berate them. I wanted to give them a chance. But it doesn't seem that we're going to be able to. We recently received an announcement that the next season is going to start without attack tactics being a thing even. And that, on a very bare bone fundamental level, is something that everybody, every single person, should find absolutely appalling. Because here's the idea. Previously, you chose defensive tactics for your entire alliance, or battle group, I should be specific, and then corresponding attackers gain bonuses. Now, you could choose whether to use champions that benefit from them or not. For instance, when going up against Protect, you can set Protect as your defensive tactic, and then offensively, you can bring in extra large champions or large champions that will help you deal with Protect better yourself. So, if you used Protect and fought against Protect, you had easier time dealing with that Protect node in general. Now, the idea was that all of that would be set in individual level. So if you're facing against one defensive tactic, you can select a corresponding offensive tactic to help you deal with it easier. But one of these things is going to be disabled. And that is not going to be the thing that makes it better or easier for players. The thing getting disabled, and thing that is not going to take place in season 26, I think, so whichever one it is the attack tactics. That means that defenders will still get those boosts, regardless what I think of the design quality of those defensive tactics, but still, they will be there. You will have to deal with them. The no quake tactic is going to be a thing, and whatever other tactics are there will be a thing too. But for this one season, they are taking away your offensive counterpart. They are taking away your option to, well, enhance your champions that you had previously up until now. On a personal level, again, I think the war is not going to be insanely hard. I think people will still be able to deal with those fights without dying 50 times per war and stuff like that. I don't see anything overly menacing right now in the map of Alliance War. But at the same time, it is simply wrong. Imagine a situation where they disable Alliance boosts and Alliance war boosts for war, and they bring out these special new war boosts. You can boost up to gain advantage should you think you need. And then it turns out they're bugged, as everything else Kabam is releasing. And then they just go, no, you know what? Instead of giving you back the previous setup or trying to say that, okay, maybe everybody gets these boosts then for a while or something, instead of trying to balance the scale in any meaningful way, they say, you know what? You just play without any boost the entire season. Now, I do find that to be wrong. And again, maybe not necessarily for the very tippy top alliances, maybe not for the alliances that strictly fight for top 10 masters or something like that. But for the Plat 1, Plat 2 alliances that still have to deal with the defensive tactics and, still end up using potions, still end up giving away some death and having to revive, this will inevitably incur higher costs for all of those players. Because you do not get any offensive benefit anymore that you would have gotten previously. In previous system, you had universal defensive tactics, and in this system, you were meant to have individual offensive options to further enhance your champions, which now will be denied to you. Now, putting aside all the quote-unquote fake advertising and all the people who may have ranked up champions based on the promised increase in power. For instance, I'm not going to say that I ranked up Luke Cage specifically only because I thought he might be really awesome with one of the offensive tactics in particular. But I kind of did. At the very least, that was the thing that made me pull the trigger. I thought, offensive tactics are here. Whilst the off-season is here, I'm going to have time to test, and if I'm right, this could be crazy good. So I did rank up a champion to test in off-season, and obviously I was slightly irritated when the offensive tactics were not available in off-season. I thought, but you know what, maybe I can convince my alliance mates in some lopsided war, promising that I'll boost up crazily and I will not give up a death on some easy gimme fight. I could still test it out, and maybe it would work awesome, and maybe more people would choose to follow that route. But now, obviously, I still don't have a chance to do that, and I have ranked a champion based on information that Kabam has given to me, which I otherwise would not have done. That is another issue, and that is irritating for sure. But I'm willing to swallow that rank up because you know what? Luke Cage is a nice champion. I think he's underrated champion, whatever. And there were plenty of other reasons to rank him up than just this one thing. But it still feels underhanded. But putting this secondary problem at the side, the main issue still remains. They're taking away from you and your offensive options without giving anything in return or without changing anything. And then they are playing kind of like, well, what's wrong with it? Which defensive tactics in particular are you referring to? It's clear for an idiot that every offensive tactic had a defensive counterpart which was meant to be eased by the use of offensive tactics. And then we have just foreign folk playing dumb there, and I see nothing wrong with this. This is perfectly legit. No, this is not legit. It is de facto making Alliance War harder. And there is not a single mention of that. So what would be the choice? Remove defensive tactics altogether? That would be one option, but I think that would make war even more intolerable and boring, perhaps. What would be the choice? Perhaps reducing potion cost and sending out some X amount of potions and boosts to every player to offset the disadvantage that everybody is being put in right now. Perhaps, but it will be very hard to calculate. In reality, there is only one decent, good solution. And that would be to delay the war season till they figure their shit out. Till they pull a finger off their rectum, fix what was meant to be working to begin with, and launch the content properly. I swear, Kabam is like one of the only companies that I have heard about that goes, you know what, this shit's bugged, but let's release it anyways. Kabam is like one of the only companies that I have ever heard of that willingly, knowingly pushes bugged and damaged product and then how people pay for it, because potions are not free, and they know very well that the taking away of attack tactics will increase item use for maybe not a huge group of people, but definitely for a select group of players. Knowing that very well, that their ineptitude, their inability to deliver on what they have themselves announced within the deadlines that they announced them in, will incur higher item cost and potentially monetary cost to their players. They still don't give a rat's ass about it, and they're gonna say, "Yeah, we're still doing it," and that is just quite clear where the priorities lie. And these are the things that sometimes make me ashamed that I am supporting a company like this. But that's what I think. Let me know what you guys think. Alliance War season is bound to start today, tomorrow. Offensive tactics will not be active. We have had zero chance to test them. And we're still shit. But the rewards are better, so yay. Anyways, that is the rant over. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'm gonna catch you guys soon. See ya. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about